Chapter 5: Pollution, Environmental Stressors, and the Cell Danger Response. The modern world introduces us to a wide array of environmental stressors, ranging from air and water pollution to chemical exposure, electromagnetic fields, EMFs, and light pollution. These environmental challenges are not just nuisances in contemporary life. They can have profound impacts on human health, especially for those who are already struggling with trauma. For individuals with trauma-related disorders, these environmental factors may contribute to the persistence of the cell danger response, CDR, making it significantly more challenging for them to heal and recover fully. Such environmental stressors may act as continuous triggers, keeping the body locked in the protective CDR mode and preventing full recovery. Here's how these factors contribute to this persistent CDR: toxins and chemical exposure. Air and water pollution, as well as chemical contaminants in food and other products, introduce toxins into the human body. Heavy metals, pesticides, industrial chemicals, and even household pollutants can interfere with normal cellular functions. Cells interpret these toxins as threats, and this perception can maintain the CDR, keeping the body in a heightened state of vigilance. For trauma survivors, this is particularly harmful. Their cells are already on high alert due to unresolved psychological threats, and the introduction of external toxins can prolong this state. Instead of shifting out of the CDR and into a phase of repair, the body remains defensive, prioritizing survival over healing. Oxidative stress and inflammation. Pollution, especially from particulate matter in the air, can lead to oxidative stress, a condition in which harmful free radicals outweigh the body's antioxidant defenses. Oxidative stress is known to drive chronic inflammation, which is a crucial factor in keeping the CDR activated. Trauma itself triggers inflammatory responses as the body reacts to emotional and physical damage. When pollution adds to this inflammation, the result is a prolonged state of cellular stress. For those in the throes of trauma recovery, this creates a cycle. Environmental pollutants exacerbate inflammation, which in turn sustains the CDR, preventing cells from transitioning into a healing phase. Electromagnetic field (EMF) pollution. One of the more insidious environmental factors contributing to CDR is electromagnetic field (EMF) pollution. As technology permeates daily life, we are increasingly exposed to EMFs from mobile phones, Wi-Fi routers, smart devices, and power lines. Although EMF radiation is invisible, emerging research suggests that long-term exposure may negatively affect cellular function and overall health. For individuals already coping with trauma, chronic exposure to EMF radiation can further destabilize the nervous system. Studies show that EMFs can disrupt sleep patterns, increase oxidative stress, and impair mitochondrial function, which is vital for cellular energy production. Trauma survivors are already prone to heightened stress responses, and prolonged EMF exposure may exacerbate this, keeping the body trapped in a heightened CDR state. The body perceives this radiation as a continuous threat, preventing it from downregulating the CDR and transitioning into recovery. Light pollution and blue light exposure. Another often overlooked factor in maintaining the CDR is light pollution, particularly exposure to artificial blue light. In the 21st century world, people are increasingly exposed to artificial light sources from screens, LED lights, and street lights, disrupting our natural circadian rhythm. Blue light, which is heavily emitted by electronic devices, can interfere with sleep and suppress the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating sleep-wake cycles. For trauma survivors, healthy sleep is critical to healing, as restorative deep sleep is essential for regulating stress and allowing the body to repair itself. Light pollution, especially blue light exposure in the evening, can lead to chronic sleep disturbances. These disturbances not only exacerbate symptoms of trauma, but also prolong the CDR by keeping the body in a state of stress. When the body cannot achieve deep, restorative sleep, the central nervous system remains active and defensive, making it harder for trauma survivors to achieve cellular healing. Endocrine disruption. Many pollutants, such as endocrine-disrupting chemicals, EDCs, interfere with hormone regulation. These chemicals, found in plastics, pesticides, and other industrial products, can alter the body's delicate hormonal balance. Hormones play a critical role in regulating stress, healing, and recovery from trauma. When environmental pollutants disrupt these systems, it can make it harder for the body to downregulate the CDR. This is especially relevant for trauma survivors, who often suffer from hormonal imbalances due to prolonged stress. Environmental disruption of hormone function only worsens this condition, making it harder for their bodies to shift out of a defensive posture and into a state of healing. Psychological stress from environmental factors. It's not only chemical pollutants that impact trauma survivors. Noise pollution, overcrowded living conditions, and lack of green spaces also contribute to chronic stress. These environmental factors place a constant burden on the nervous system, keeping it activated and preventing the relaxation and safety needed for recovery from trauma. Noise pollution, for instance, can disrupt sleep cycles, aggravate anxiety, and keep the brain in a state of hypervigilance. For someone with trauma, whose nervous system is already overwhelmed, these environmental stressors make it even harder to achieve the peace and calm necessary to exit the CDR. CO2 levels and environmental stress in the CDR. Growing attention has been paid in recent years to the role of carbon dioxide, CO2 levels, in relation to overall health, particularly through the work of researchers like James Nestor. His exploration of how CO2 affects the body's breathing mechanisms highlights a critical link between environmental factors and physiological stress. Modern lifestyles, marked by shallow breathing and exposure to pollution, often lead to reduced tolerance for CO2. This can result in poor oxygen exchange and place further strain on the body's cellular systems. Nestor's work underscores how chronic exposure to poor air quality, particularly in urban environments, exacerbates this problem. With higher CO2 levels, the body struggles to maintain proper respiration, which can contribute to the prolonged activation of the cell danger response CDR. As Nestor suggests, it may be possible to mitigate some of these environmental stressors by addressing CO2 tolerance and improving breathing patterns. Incorporating breathwork techniques designed to optimize CO2 levels could support trauma recovery, helping the body deactivate the CDR and promote cellular healing. Volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and their impact on the CDR. Volatile organic compounds, VOCs, are a class of harmful chemicals found in everyday environments, originating from products like paints, cleaning supplies, building materials, and even furnishings. These compounds off-gas into the air we breathe, contributing to indoor air pollution and posing significant health risks. Prolonged exposure to VOCs can disrupt the body's natural ability to detoxify and regulate cellular functions, often leading to chronic inflammation and immune system overactivation. In the context of the cell danger response, CDR, VOCs play a critical role in keeping the body in a prolonged state of defense. When VOC levels are elevated in the environment, the body continuously perceives these compounds as toxic threats. This perpetual state of cellular alarm can lead to the chronic activation of the CDR, contributing to a range of health issues such as respiratory problems, fatigue, and systemic inflammation. Mitigating exposure to VOCs through the use of low-emission products, air purifiers, and adequate ventilation is essential for trauma survivors and individuals dealing with chronic health conditions. Reducing the environmental burden of these pollutants allows the body to shift out of the defense state triggered by the CDR, creating space for cellular repair and recovery. The combined impact of trauma and environmental factors. In essence, pollution, EMF radiation, and light pollution, along with other environmental stressors, can act as continuous low-level threats that keep the body in a defensive state. For individuals with trauma who are already living with heightened stress responses, these environmental factors can compound the issue, making it exceedingly difficult to exit the CDR. Healing from trauma requires not only psychological support, but also a reduction in perceived threats, both internal and external. Pollution introduces external threats that keep the system on edge, preventing the body from truly resting and healing. The long-term consequence is that many trauma survivors, especially those living in urban or industrial environments, find it much harder to recover as they are continually bombarded with environmental triggers that sustain the CDR. Moving toward recovery, reducing environmental stress. Addressing the impact of environmental factors on trauma recovery requires both individual and societal action. On an individual level, reducing exposure to toxins through clean water, air filtration, and organic foods can help minimize the triggers that keep the CDR activated. Reducing exposure to EMF radiation, such as limiting the use of electronic devices and optimizing sleep environments to reduce blue light exposure, can help the nervous system recover. Detoxification protocols, such as using saunas or increasing antioxidant intake, can also help the body clear out pollutants and reduce oxidative stress. On a societal level, reducing pollution, regulating EMF exposure, and ensuring access to clean, healthy environments are essential for public health, especially for those recovering from trauma. Advocacy for environmental justice and the reduction of industrial pollution plays a critical role in allowing trauma survivors to move out of the CDR and into a state of healing. Ultimately, trauma recovery is about more than addressing the psychological aspects of healing. It's about creating a safe, clean environment where the body can stop perceiving threats and begin to heal. Key takeaways. Environmental stressors, including CO2 levels and VOCs, play a significant role in activating and perpetuating the cell danger response CDR. Addressing CO2 tolerance through breathwork and reducing exposure to VOCs can help the body shift out of a state of chronic defense and promote cellular healing. Proactive steps to mitigate environmental pollutants are crucial for trauma recovery and long-term health. Next steps. Evaluate the environment for potential sources of pollution, particularly in indoor settings, and consider mitigating strategies such as air purifiers and low VOC materials. Incorporate breathwork techniques that improve CO2, tolerance to optimize respiratory health and support the resolution of the CDR. Work with environmental health specialists to reduce exposure to harmful chemicals, such as VOCs and other air pollutants that can activate the CDR. References: Bioinitiative Report, ND, Bioinitiative Report, a rationale for a biologically based public exposure standard for electromagnetic fields, ELF and RF. Available at https://bioinitiative.org. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. NDD, Volatile Organic Compounds Impact on Indoor Air Quality, Environmental Protection Agency. Available at https://www.epa.gov. Indoor Air Quality IAQ Volatile Organic Compounds Impact Indoor Air Quality. International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC. ND. IARC classifies radiofrequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic to humans. World Health Organization. Available at https://www.ircot.int. Press Release. IRC classifies radiofrequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic to humans. National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, NIEHS. ND. EMF. Electric and Magnetic Fields. National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. Available at https://www.anis.nih.gov. Health Topics Agents EMF or Nestor J. 2020. Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art. Riverhead Books. Available at https://www.mirjamesnestor.com/breathbook. World Health Organization, WHO. ND. Air Pollution and Health. World Health Organization. Available at https://www.who.intia Health Topics Air Pollution.